Hi there. My name is Josephine Shepard, and I am the owner and operator of Integrative Therapies and Consulting and creator of the Live and Awe approach and community. And if this is the first time you've visited our YouTube channel, then welcome, and I am glad you're here. At this moment, I'm here to introduce you to a new video series that is a part of our community. It is called I Am Not My Diagnosis. And I'm going to invite you, after you watch this little video clip that we're about to put up, um, I would invite you to consider joining our community. And you can put after that statement anything. It can, any label or whatever. I am not my diagnosis. I am not my label. I am not my age or race. I am not my trauma. I am not my um, job position, job titles, so on and so forth. I'm not my pain. There's a lot of different things that sometimes in life we have learned to identify with. It becomes our identity. And the process in this particular series is very personal because I'm walking you through a exercise, a holistic approach to a healing journey for myself, and also inspired by times when I have healed or been healed from other challenges, such as debilitating vertigo that was believed to be chronic and permanent and definitely disabling. I do not have that. And so that is an example. And working with one of my former clients came to me at one time with a diagnosis with being dependent upon insulin as a diabetic. After we worked together, he became free of the need for insulin, working with his doctor, of course, and also, dropped the weight, and several years later, never needed to return to the use of diabetic medication. So with that said, I'm going to share with you this clip from the intro video to this series. And I hope that'll give you a little inspiration. And if it resonates, I invite you to join us in our Live in Awe community. And you'll discover that through our website. And I will leave all of those links to everything that we have to offer down below in the description. So without further ado, thank you and enjoy. So, healing is very personal. It's not going to be identical to every tool that I may use for me, but I can encourage you how to find your own. And working together, he managed to get off of his dependency of the insulin for his diabetes and lose weight and keep that weight off. And he did not do it without communicating with his doctor. So this is not something where you may hear me say, just, whatever you're utilizing in our Western medicine, you just throw that away. I am very much about integrative medicine, but that's also going to look different for everyone. Okay? That being said, I know in my heart that for this new experience, it is just as important for me to apply the tools that I have in the past for myself and with people that I have worked with in the past. And I decided to take a different approach because, first of all, life keeps unfolding. And even if you're on a wonderful spiritual path, or you feel that you've never had anything specific in, say, your childhood that was traumatizing, or whatever the case may be, there's still going to be different things that arise in life that either are similar to others, but the circumstances within your own life and your body are going to create a unique ground for why those things arise. And because we are very individualized, every person needs to address themselves from that perspective. And that's why it's always an internal job along with whatever external things that you're doing. So, with that said, today's video, obviously, because it's the first one, is the introduction to I am not my diagnosis. I recently received a diagnosis of fibromyalgia. And one of the things that the doctor and I have studied in the medical field about this particular diagnosis is that it tends to be very common amongst those who have experienced any kind of trauma in their childhood, specifically if there was any kind of neglect or abuse, be it mental, emotional, or physical, all of the above, etc. And particularly because it's during a time when the brain and the cognitive is still forming, and so the body is programming itself, and it incorporates the different messages and information that it obtains, and the way also that it is perceived, and how the body and the mind know that in order to be loved or to attach, in other words, to guarantee that its physiological, mental, and emotional needs are met, is by developing specific patterns in the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. That's why we have the different experiences that we do that are actually very individualized. So we'll go much more into that another time later, but just, some introductory statements around that. So for me, this journey about not identifying with the diagnosis doesn't mean not acknowledging it. So there's going to be a combination of things that I've already begun and was on the journey of doing because of awareness of certain symptoms. But now this puts it into focus to identify a little more framework of what I actually will be doing, both in body, mind, and spirit, which requires additional internal work, which requires becoming more and more aware of internal dialogues and patterns, acknowledging emotions that might even not be identified as related to specific memories necessarily, but it's just a sensation that arises in the body because it's sometimes can even be precognitive. Okay, so there's so many different facets that make us up. We are such beautiful, magnificent, multi-dimensional, multi-experiential beings, and that's the beautiful thing. And when I talk about I am not my diagnosis, like I said, it's not denying that because it's going to give us a focus point, and we're going to focus on the tools to help work through this process. But it's seeing from a broader perspective, and what that means for me in the practices of contemporary style shamanism, which is a earth-based, something that is very deep in my heart, that I am more and more allowing people to see that aspect of myself and my practices. That means that I am not this body, right? We do identify with it. There are times, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, it's really important to understand that to see holistically, to expand and see ourselves from a broader view, is to embrace, appreciate that duality, because it does serve us in so many ways. This is being in this physical body allows us to expand exponentially on a multiple levels, and it adds to the collective consciousness. Okay? So broader view, again, means I am non-physical consciousness. I am innate life force and well-being expressing through this physical form. The diagnosis is a pointer to how certain patterns, generally thoughts that we create that are repetitive, which is what a belief system is, right? Different patterns in the body that have been running in the background for a while, but doesn't mean that it can't be shifted. And sometimes it's not about going right in and saying, okay, I've got to go for, dig into, do the deep shadow work and dig into where's that emotion, where's that belief, and all of this. That doesn't serve us either. Because as we will all have learned, where attention goes, energy flows. So the dominant frequency, the dominant energy focus for me through this process, and as I'm sharing with you, is going to be about coming from the natural state of what we truly are, which is I am non-physical consciousness. I am divinity and light defined, right, in a physical expression. And this is a vessel that is created by a number of different varieties of patterns, not just emotions and stories and that kind of thing, but this incredible way that life force, source energy, is also expressed in and as this vessel, right? Cells having the intelligence to know, to come together and create brain and the energy that is the oxygen that our lungs are breathing, and the cells and atoms that create the lungs, and our heart, and the different organs of our digestive system and our nervous system, and our foundation, our structure, our bones, right? And we think about the endocrine system and all the different hormones and chemicals that send the signals, and how everything works collaboratively. So this journey is becoming more conscious of being a collaborative, cooperative component in the whole of me, both as the energy and soul energy, if you will, that this body and the energy of the body, the aura, rests and resides in, and the whole collective energy in which even my non-physical consciousness expressed through me that is more so outside of the physical realm of all of this is resting and residing within source energy, or the collective consciousness. So I didn't want to go too far today, but I wanted the opportunity to introduce, focused on creating for myself and for each of you this holding of space, non-judgment, spaciousness, collaboration, working and operating from broader consciousness. Because if you're here, you already believe and are aware that there's a difference between your patterns of thought, as well as when you're operating from that higher version of you embodied through the physical. And my intention is to always, always, always grow and expand from that area, and in that process, be a loving encouragement and for you as well. So this is going to be a start of a new journey. I love and appreciate you for coming along this journey with me, and I pray for your sense of grounding and centeredness, and being able to shift your sense of awareness as well, that you too are not and you can add to that, you can add the word after that. Is it a diagnosis, or I am not my fear, I am not the fear I'm experiencing, I am not the pain I'm experiencing, I am not my past. You can fill in the blank. So thank you for joining me here, and my intention, first and foremost, is to follow Spirit, how I am to share with you, what to share, when to share, and whatever it is. We're going to trust higher guidance through this whole process, because that is where our empowerment comes. And actually that empowerment comes through all aspects of life, in all areas, mental, emotional, physical, manifesting, abundance, health, all of that, relationships. So we're going to trust the Spirit together, and we're going to trust that even though it's unknown how this is going to unfold, what it's going to look like, we are all in this together. And even with the souls that may not be joining us physically, everything is in divine timing. So again, thank you, and I love you guys so much, and I will see you at the next video. Namaste.